Okay, class, so today's notes are fairly straightforward. We are just simply talking about ions. And ions is a word we're familiar with because in first semester we talked about both cations and anions. So ions just means if something gains or loses electrons, it acquires a charge. Alright? So if an atom gains or loses electrons, it acquires a charge. So it has some charge associated with it. So here is the way this works. If it gains, okay, so gains electrons, then we call that thing an anion. If it gains electrons. Alright, so if it gains electrons, it means it has more electrons than it does protons. So if we took magnesium, for example, and well, magnesium is a bad example because it doesn't do this. If we take oxygen, for example, so oxygen has 8 protons. And what we're going to find out a little bit later on in this unit, it tends to gain 2 electrons. Right? So if it gained 2 electrons, it would have 10 electrons. So if it gains electrons, it has more electrons, so its charge becomes negative. Alright? And again, you may remember this from the first semester, but anions are things with negative charges. Okay, so if it gains electrons, it becomes negative. The reverse is also true. If something loses electrons, we call this thing a cation. And we'll do with our example for magnesium. So magnesium on its own has 12 protons. And typically, if it loses electrons, it likes to lose 2. So it has 10 electrons. Alright, so in this example, we have 12 protons and 10 electrons. So which we have more of? We have more protons. So because they have a positive charge, we really have a positive 2 charge for magnesium when it becomes an ion. So again, if something loses electrons, it becomes positive. If it gains electrons, it becomes negative. Positive charged things are called cations, and negative charged things are called anions. And kind of the easy way to remember that is right here in the middle of cation. We have what looks like a plus sign. So it's positive if it's a cation. And that is simply ions, right?